Oh, that just doesn't make no sense. I'm sitting back there trying to eat, man. My stomach full. That's some knowledge there. That's some knowledge. But now you can see why the level of respect is there. And that's one guy right there that told me that when I get up and speak, you want to make sure you're confident in whatever you say. You know that somebody's receiving it. Or it should be timid, like we was talking about with fear. But on another note, I was an athlete all my life. A real good athlete. Real good athlete. And let me come down a little bit. Not just I'm a comedian too.
We all are. Funniest people learn on stage. Not in comedy.
We got comedian Jason Dixie in the house. No, but I was an athlete. I was an athlete all my life. Right now, you know, you have trophies and all that type of stuff to show what you achieved, and you look back now and you say, wow, you know, now I'm grown, got family, had an opportunity to go to college for free and play football, but had to raise a family and decided not to go. And I ran across a guy, and I mean, this is just kind of crazy that I think I know this dude's vision better than he do. No, I'm just joking. No, but being an athlete, you know, you say you want to have an opportunity, just like in business, to be around mentors and stuff that Mr. Todd Binkley was talking about. But with sports, you know, it's more so as of course, athletic mentors. You know, people who've been in that field successfully. You know, who can push you, help you work harder. You know, build your work ethics. And there was not an AWP when I was playing football, where I can go train and, you know, get the professional level training and all that type of stuff. So I wish I had that, but unfortunately I got to go ahead and just keep supporting my fellow people that's out here playing. And I have outstanding respect for this guy also. But what I meant, I was just joking about it, but as far as seeing somebody else's vision, that's first of all, that's powerful to see somebody else's vision, because you able to support them. I can speak about somebody else's business when they ain't even present. You know, to have the athletic side of a vision, you know, an athlete's vision, and then also bring in the spiritual teaching with it. That makes sense? You know, it's I play with a lot of great athletes besides myself. A lot of good athletes, and one thing they were missing was the leadership, you know, that they needed, and also the spiritual side, you know, the confidence in themselves. And I believe that's what AWP is really going to bring to the table. I don't know if that's what the original vision is, but that's something I see that would have been of value to me as a young man playing sports. And I want to bring this guy up, and I just want to keep it down to earth, like this guy is. Cool fellow, about 5'6". Just joking. I said I was a comedian. Mr. Mike Lito.
I'm gonna wear my hat, be real casual today. I asked him what I could wear. I want to be comfortable. Chill out. Todd, I was blessed by, you know, what you said, man, and so I'm glad that it's always good. One of my counterparts that works with my quarterbacks, he was telling the guy the other day, was arguing about not starting on our travel 7-on-7 team. He said, you're always good when you're the backup, because you can watch what the other person did right or did wrong, observe them and go in and do well. And so it's always good to be able to evaluate and to hear Todd's vision on e-faith learning. I'm kind of disappointed in Adrian that he has not shared that vision with me, so that I could expand some of the things I'm going. I'm on an accelerated path right now, and e-faith learning can be being used by my company. So we'll talk about that later. But I want to share a little bit about me. I'm from Fort Wayne. I was an athlete as well. I wasn't as good as Devon, but I was an athlete, and played sports here at Bishop Luers, and was a state champ and a runner-up, and broke a lot of records and stuff and playing football, but did not have the academics out of high school. Had a son when I was a senior with my wife now, and so, you know, just made a lot of bad decisions, or not decisions at the right time, and could have played football at Ohio State, you know, and then ended up going to California for junior college, came back to be with my son and my wife now, and played at St. Francis and got a degree there. my vision was always to play football, you know, and I had an uncle, and I'm gonna move around. I had an uncle who was a big reader, and he always tried to get me to read books, and I would never read, and so in high school, you know, I was always hustling, cheating, doing whatever I was doing. I wasn't doing my homework, and it was all about playing football. And my uncle always said, and I remember the first book I ever got was Maximize the Moment by T.D. Jakes. So my uncle had given me this book, and I had it for a while, and would never read it. I finally read it, and I was blessed because you know, my father's African American, my mom's Cuban, and I was partly raised by a white family when I was younger. So I had all this diversity around me, you know, and I always joke about it because I was able to study and learn from different people, you know, from my African American heritage, a Hispanic, a white, and then I went to Catholic schools, predominantly white schools. So, and when I was in high school, before I knew it, I was an athlete with purpose. That's what AWP stands for. You know, for me, I was that player that when someone of a different ethnicity than me would meet me, they'd be like, "Oh my God, he's so well spoken. You know, he's such a nice kid." You know, they just, you know, because I was just a running back scoring touchdowns. And I had friends that I grew up with that was better than me, and they would resist it. They would fight it. You know, for me, I would study the other cultures. So I'd go over friends' homes on purpose, you know, and I'd study their families, and I'd watch why they do this different than us, you know, and this and this and that, and I would learn it. And so I would study them, I would watch them. I really paid attention very closely. And I had a buddy of mine I grew up with, Cameron Johnson. We grew up together, and Cam, you know, his father had died, and mom was, you know, involved in alcoholism, and he always had a chip on his shoulder. Never played the system, just always fighting the system, you know, and it didn't work, you know. And so, anyway, that was through high school. When I left junior college out in California, one of my mentors to this day has been a mentor in my life is my uncle Eugene Parker, the sports agent. And so being able to have him in my life has been awesome. He's a multi-millionaire, one of the most influential people in what he does in the world. And for him, I can remember when we got real close because I'm related to him through marriage. So my uncle that always gave me books, you know, and I began to read them. I remember because I never read a book in school. I never read a book my whole life through high school. So, I mean, I just always cheated and did whatever I was doing playing sports. And when I read Maximize the Moment, I believe when I went to college in Pasadena, California, and junior college, I began to read heavily, and I had a journal, and I was writing my vision down. I still have a journal to this day where I wrote the vision for AWP down back in 2001. I wrote the vision for the company down, but I didn't realize it at the time. I was writing it down, I had it on paper, and I believe in that year I read like 15 books. So like in that year, I got hungry for knowledge. So in that year, when I was out in California, I ended up having surgery on my thumb. I played with 5 or 6 guys that got drafted. Guys who was playing at USC. It was the #2 team in the country. I was way over my head. I was lazy. I wasn't prepared. I thought I was better than what I was. And so, got out there, and I had this defensive back coach. He was anointed. He was awesome. And I recognized it. So although I was hurt, I go to practice every day, and I just like watch him. You know what I'm saying? I watch him do everything, and I do all these notes on him and his drills and what he was doing because I recognized his gift. You know, sometimes you got people around you, and they anointed and they gifted. And I knew it. I was at a little old junior college, right? But I saw the gift very early. Well, long story short, I studied from this dude. Not to know what God was preparing me for. I'm a pretty good defensive back coach now myself. So I came back, and when I came home, next year, this brother didn't even have a degree. He didn't get his degree from Michigan State when he played because he left early to go to the league, different things. This dude was coaching for USC with Pete Carroll. I don't know how big that is for you, but he was the defensive back coach. But I saw that. You see what I'm saying? Some people don't see, you know, Todd could be, you don't know what Todd is, what God has for Todd, and you can't see it now. But I was able to see that. So I took that, did all this study, and I was reading, You know, I remember when I read that, I ran through all the Robert Kiyosaki stuff. I remember when I went to my Uncle Eugene's house one time. He was in his office, and it was on Robert Kiyosaki's Guide to Investing. And I had just read the book and went through it and all this stuff. And I went to my uncle's office, and my uncle was reading the book. So I had to be like, ooh, I was sophomore in college or whatever. So I went to my uncle's office. He was reading it. I started just breaking pages out to him. I was like, so what you think about page 66 on this? And my uncle's like a multi-millionaire, right? So he's reading. He's like, and I'm like, yeah, what you think about this? What you think about that? You know, we're just kind of going back and forth. So my uncle my biggest thing is I was always ripping from him. You know, my first lady at church always tells me when I see her on Wednesdays, she always says when I'm in church, she can feel me pulling on her. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're in church, she can feel me because I'm pulling on her because I'm trying to take everything I can. I'm so used to giving to people all week and doing stuff that my one time is when I go to church on Saturday or Wednesday, everything is scratched and I'm straight selfish. You know, even in the church they be asking me why I don't do stuff. I said I'm doing stuff outside of church. When I come to church, I'm coming to receive. You know, just going back to that. So, you know, going to my uncle. So when I was in college at St. Francis, I left California and went to St. Francis, the NAIA school here in town. Started as a freshman. Sophomore year, I broke the career rushing record as a sophomore. So I was only a sophomore, I had already broken the career rushing record. I was a first team All-American. My Uncle Eugene said, hey, we got to get you out of here. So he said, you need to be somewhere bigger than this. So they flew me out to New Orleans. And I went out to New Orleans at the time, was the #1 speed coach in the country. All over ESPN, all over everything, Tom Shaw. He's out in Orlando now, Walt Disney World of Sports. But at the time he was in New Orleans because Katrina didn't hit yet. So he was out there. So I flew out there. I worked out with 10 first-round draft picks, 4 second-round picks, you know, did my thing. They was like, man, Mike is... When I went out there, I was